Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of First Take talking about the Lakers, and Shannon Sharpe saying, I have serious worry about the concerns of the Lakers making a run. This title is weird. That wasn't exactly grammatically correct, but we'll go with it. Of course you have worry about the Lakers. That's obvious. This whole idea that the Lakers could ever make a run is comical, is absurd, is wishful thinking. I know we all want to see LeBron make another run, and we want to believe that LeBron can do anything because in the past he's kind of proven that. But the writing has been on the wall. They can't make a run. The Lakers are not good enough, and LeBron James especially, and AD to a very large degree as well, cannot withstand the intensity of the playoffs. LeBron is simply too old, and they need him to do too much. LeBron can't put up 40-point games again and again and again and carry a team, especially in the playoffs. Can he do it in game 1 or game 2? Sure. But then what happens in the next game? He then has like a 15-point game and has completely run out of gas. It's what we saw in the years past now, the immediate years. That is what would happen now. He's not good enough. He can't play physical enough. He can't play hard enough on both sides of the floor. LeBron James is an absolute freak, and everything he's doing is great, but he cannot be the number one option consistently, and he cannot be like, get on my back, I will lead us to victory. And that is what the Lakers are still expecting him to do, and it's wishful thinking. Okay? Tom Brady wasn't going to win that Super Bowl if they didn't get Gronk and AB. Take away Gronk, take away AB, they don't win the Super Bowl. It's really that simple. Okay? How do I know? Because they caught passes to get them to the Super Bowl and in the Super Bowl. So, and Tom Brady was emphatic, like, get me these players, I need them. And you know what? I trust Tom Brady. So, even the old guys who seemingly defy logic, who defy, father time, they still need help. And the Lakers are just not good enough. So this idea that we're like shocked, I got concerns, oh my God. Where have you been living? What have you been watching? It's obvious. Let's take a listen.
About your Lakers making a run.
Yeah, because you only have, what is it, they're 36 and 20, and 36 and 32. So that means there's 68 games. So what, they have, 14 games left?
Yeah.
82 games. So they have
like
14
the 10th
games
seed?
left. You're running out of time, and so basically you're trying to get to the 8th seed, but Sacramento is the 6th seed. Sacramento has swept you this season. I think you won one game maybe, but they hold a tiebreak. They hold a tiebreaker over.
Yeah, they lost 4. They lost all 4 to Sacramento.
Okay, so they lose the tiebreaker to the Kings. They lose the tiebreaker to the Warriors. I think they lose the tiebreaker to the Mavericks, and so basically you're going to be relegated to the playing tournament. That's where you are. There's no way around it, and you're going to end up playing Steph. You're going to probably end up playing the Suns with KD and Book and them. So that's where they are. I like their chances Saturday night until AD went down. LeBron can't do any more than what he did. I don't know if we'll ever see. I mean, we'll see it again. But did you know how special he was shooting the ball from the floor, from the three-point line? He was attacking the rim. The free throws he was making, but he just didn't get anybody. You look at what Steph got. And then you had old siding. Clay came in the first quarter. This game was about to get away from him, Stephen A. You saw it. The game was about to get away. And then Clay came in and get like 17 in the first quarter. They regrouped, rallied, and then they didn't look back once they got the halftime lead, had a 1-point halftime lead. They didn't look back after that. But, yes, it's time for them to worry. Serious worrying.
Well, Shannon, you're partially right. There is reason for them to be concerned. But I love how you leave stuff out. See, that's the beauty of
what I leave out.
I'm getting ready to get into that. That's the beauty of what you get. Because see, what happens is you got to listen to what you say. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's Club Shay 1 minute, it's Nightcap the next day. You come on here and you think I'm not watching. I'm watching you, my brother. I'm watching you. And you left out the most important part. They're atrocious defensively.
They are.
Since
They're bad.
The All-Star break, they ranked 28th out of 30 teams defensively. That is just awful. They got 4 starters, averaging better than 15 points a game, shooting better than 44% from three-point range. The only starter that ain't doing that is Anthony Davis, and you still can't win these games. You 5-4. You didn't even have to leave the state the last 9 games, and you 5-4. That's just disgraceful. And then you got D'Angelo Russell, who I got on. I like D'Angelo Russell. I like D'Lo, but there was still an APB. I had the cops in L.A. looking for him because it was APB out for him. We couldn't find him last year in the playoffs. Couldn't find him last year in the playoffs against Denver. He was nowhere to be found.
He played good this
year. That's right. And this year he comes on after being inserted in the starting lineup, averaging nearly 22 on 45% shooting from 3, but then stinks up the joint in a particular game. I think it was against Sacramento. And what does he do in the aftermath of that game? Said he wasn't even aware of the standings, wasn't even aware of the significance of the game. Now, that's ridiculous. That's just, see, this is what I'm talking about, Shannon, when I said Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Butt.
So I have mixed feelings about that. When I first heard that, I called no way. Players sometimes have different approaches to games, to seasons in that regard. And locker rooms in general, coaches. Sometimes you have coaches and players, for that matter, who are constantly letting you know what is the situation, what the rankings are, where you are, who you're behind, the significance of every game, every, stretch, every quarter, whatever. Then there's the other philosophy where it doesn't matter. We don't think about that. We don't worry about that. It's out of our control. And we play every game the same, whether it's game 20 or, the third game in a conference championship or whatever. And the problem is that latter part sounds good, especially if you're successful. Like if LeBron James says it, like, I have no idea because I don't focus on that. I just play as hard as I can every game, every moment, and I let the rest take care of it. It's obviously proven to be successful then in that regard, right? And it's LeBron James. But when it's someone like a D'Angelo Russell, who's kind of aloof, who's had problems in locker rooms in the past, who's had his famous issues, over the years, it can look bad. It looks like you're less engaged, as you don't care as much. And basketball also struggles with that narrative as a whole in a lot of ways. I think it's Paul George, said this. I don't remember the exact stat, the exact percentage, but he pretty much said only 10% of the players in the NBA actually care about winning. The rest are doing it because it's a job, it's money. And he was saying it very authentically. He wasn't, giving a hot take, and it was like a crazy percentage. And I trust him. I believed it. I have no reason to believe that he's, making that up. And I've heard that from multiple people. And to some degree, it's like that in football. It all depends. Someone like Marcellus Wiley has been very vocal about that. And I don't even necessarily always blame the players in that regard, because you have the ability to make money. It's better than doing, virtually anything else. So I get it to a degree, right? Not everyone has the mentality or the ability to just be winning 24/7. That's all they care about. Not everyone is Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant. Although I like to root for those types of players who want to win so badly, but I do understand from just a human level. And that very well could be like a D'Angelo Russell's, where he's like, I don't know, man, I'm just playing. Whether, we're the 10th seed or the 4th seed, I'm playing just as hard in the game. When it's 5 minutes to go in the third quarter and I'm dribbling the ball up the court, it doesn't matter what seed we're in. What seed, what's going on here. I'm playing and going to do the exact same things. And it could even be, sometimes it's a coping mechanism, actually. Sometimes players don't like to think about the stakes because it gets in their head. And when they just play loose and free, and Nick Foles was notoriously like that, Nick Foles would be like, I don't care how much time is left in the game, and Nick Foles won a Super Bowl that way. He's like, I don't care how much time is left in the game. I don't care what the score is. If the right play is, my second read, that's what I'm doing. I don't care if we're up 20, down 20, fourth quarter in the Super Bowl, first quarter, week 2. I'm just going to make the right play. And so sometimes that's the approach that players take. So I just wanted to kind of point that out, but, they're not really saying anything of interest right here, to be quite honest with you. The only reason why they're even talking about the Lakers right now, the 10th seed, is because it's LeBron James and the Lakers. I mean, if it was any other team, we wouldn't be talking about them. Does anyone know who the 10th seed is on the East right now? Eastern Conference? Probably not. Unless, again, except for you diehard basketball fans out there. So this is one of those things where it's like, why do we spend more time talking about this 10th seed team, this team that has no chance at making a run in the playoffs, no chance at winning a championship, and yet we spend more time talking about LeBron James and the Lakers and Anthony Davis rather than the teams that are actually making noise, like OKC, like Minnesota Timberwolves, like even the Boston Celtics for that matter. Granted, the Celtics are getting some pretty good media attention too, but I would say that the Celtics are getting even more or comparable. And it's like the Celtics actually have a chance at winning. The Lakers have zero chance at winning. Zero. Not to mention, we talk more about the Lakers right now than the Warriors, and the Warriors have technically a better chance at winning than the Lakers. They just beat the Lakers, and they have a better seed. So it's just a very bizarre thing. And I get it. It's LeBron James, it's the Lakers, massive, fan base, as well as, just media attention, presence, and all of that. So I do get it. But yeah, it would be nice for us to try to, in sports media, kind of grow and evolve that, because at the end of the day, it should be based on how good you are this season, not what you did in the past. And that's what Formula One racing does so unbelievably well. I'm sure a lot of you guys maybe aren't the biggest Formula One fans or even have watched a single race, which is totally fine. But the thing that I learned after watching a lot of F1 racing, the car racing, for those of you who don't know what F1 is, maybe, they have this one guy. They have a couple people who are still racing who have won a lot of, championships over the years. The most famous one right now is Lewis Hamilton, has won seven. And in the last couple of years, he hasn't done well. And they don't talk about him every single day, every single race, nonstop. They talk about the people who are at the top of the grid, the people who are winning first, second, third, fourth, fifth. They're talking about who's relevant today. They're not living in the past. They acknowledge his greatness. It's not like they just ignore him. And, if he's in a big moment in the race, they will, acknowledge it and talk about it. But they don't just milk it nonstop 24/7. And that is what we see with LeBron James and some of these other players over the years. And same thing even with in football, whether it be Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, although Patrick Mahomes is obviously still relevant right now. They just milk it. It's just LeBron. You can't watch a casual game of LeBron playing the Minnesota Timberwolves without them just telling us the whole broadcast how amazing LeBron James is and how he's just amazing. And it gets old because you're like, there's, about 12 other players that are probably getting into the game, more than that. Well, I guess it depends on the game, but 14 players maybe. Talk about all these other players. Talk about what's going on. Talk about the players, the teams that are winning right now. Those are who matter right now. Stop desperately living and clinging onto the past. Not to say just ignore LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. That's not what I'm saying. But there's just different levels to this. There's different ways to go about it. And I think it's something that Formula One does beautifully. Because you can watch a whole race with a 7-time winner, Lewis Hamilton, and if he's in 8th place in that race, they barely talk about him. They're just not reminding us every 5 seconds of how amazing Lewis Hamilton is and how he won all those championships and how great he is and this, that, and the third. Everyone just knows it. We don't need to be reminded of it every single moment. But they do not do that in basketball or football with these older players who are now, just no longer what they were, or their teams are just not winning in the way that they were. Even if it wasn't even the fact that LeBron James is old. Even if LeBron James was 28 years old, 29 years old, and is still balling out peak prime, but his team in this season is just not good enough, okay, that's fine. He's amazing. He's great. He's the face of the league, but they're not winning right now. Let's focus on who is. And I think that's the way how sports should go more. It should just be who's winning, who's playing the best right now. And if it's not the player who was in the past, that's okay. We'll be okay. We can talk about other players. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you think the Lakers have any chance at making a playoff run? Do you think we talk about LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers way too much, considering they're the 10th seed and have zero chance at doing anything in the playoffs. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree or disagree, either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.